in the value of the pound, Steve. So whilst many of the papers are celebrating the news of this tax-cutting budget, the global currency traders are not having it.
No.
And neither are stock markets around the world.
And again, this is just happening all the time, the conflating of issues. I understand why people like this as a policy, but that doesn't mean it will pay off in the way that they're saying. I'm sure loads of people who are earning 150 grand are loving this. But if you want to try and measure it, get some metrics. FTSE had a massive dip. The pound went under $1.09. The cost of borrowing has increased because of this at a time when we're increasing our borrowing. That's a double whammy of pain. Yeah. So if you're looking at it just in terms of what the financial situation is, it's not looking great so far, although admittedly this is knee-jerk reaction and markets do their two-phase reactions. There's a thing there we didn't predict, and then they can analyse it. But the cost of borrowing going up is going to make it more painful to be borrowing. And it's not just about borrowing to fund the things that would have been funded by tax. The energy crisis has been solved by some borrowing. Let's borrow some money to fix a cap, which means we're effectively the government's borrowing money to give it to fuel companies. But they're not going to windfall tax these fuel companies. It will come to us, but not the people who are earning over 150 grand. So someone's going to pay for this at some stage, and it doesn't look like it's big companies or people with loads of money.
Well, there is already a windfall tax, and it's 60% of those extra earnings, so it's a question of not having yet another windfall tax. And then this is the idea when it comes to not having a windfall tax and also lifting the cap on bankers' bonuses, is again attracting businesses and individuals to the UK. I mean, nothing beats having those people here rather than living and working and spending their money in Paris or Dubai.
But you know what happened with the bonus cap? It's just their salaries increased so that the bonuses, they still took home the same amount of money, but it was distributed differently. Now, you could make an argument that having bankers get higher salaries means they could be sitting on their hands doing nothing. But they also don't take the risks. Because if most of your money is coming from a huge bonus because it's uncapped, well, then why not take a massive risk? Because if it pays off, you're going to get yourself a big bonus. If it doesn't pay off, relatively recent history tells us, don't worry, someone else will bail you out.
But here's the million-dollar question, Scott Capurro. Do you want millionaires leaving Britain? I would argue you don't.
I don't think they're going to leave Britain. I think they like to live here for other reasons, not just their income. They like living here.
The weather and the food.
There's that too. And the charm of the TV show hosts, right? And,
also, British men, I think we can agree, are hot.
To a certain extent, yeah. It depends on the time of day. I also think, I wonder, we borrow this money from who ourselves? I mean, can we just let it go? All the borrowing, can we just say, you know what, don't worry about it?
I know.
Just...
Wouldn't it be, I think if the world leaders could just have one meeting and go, should we just press zero on all of this?
Yeah.
But all of those people who were saying, in fact, earlier on, you were saying a return to the Thatcherism way of doing things. They were never unfunded and borrowed for spendings. It is not the Thatcher way to do this just by borrowing and going for it.
Fair point. Indeed.